Shedeur Sanders, 25 of 30 for 323 yards, 3 touchdowns. He completed his first 15 passes in this game. He was excellent. He has been playing great football. Coach Prime was like, hey, how come he never gets mentioned for the Heisman? I don't know that he's been able to, considering he's generally getting beaten the heck up half the time. But Travis Hunter does get mentioned for the Heisman, and he's back. 9 receptions, 153, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and he played 130 of 131 snaps. He's a unicorn. We love Genty. We like I don't know what else to say. Anyway, we'll get to Travis in a sec. We've talked about Prime slowly showing he was right. He's right, man. This team was 1-11 that he took over a season and a half ago. They lost those 11 games by 32.4 points a game. It wasn't close. Colorado gave up 50 more touchdowns in 2022 than they scored. They were the worst team. Their program had no hope. They were going nowhere. He's the 9th coach in 16 years or something. I think it was 16 of 17 years were losing seasons. Horrible program. No fans showing up. Nothing. He gets it going last year, and everyone's like, well, it's flash. You can sell out because it's exciting. They sell out again on Saturday. They're on national television, I think, for the 7th time this year. And they're bowl eligible, in the chase for the Big 12 championship, in the chase for an automatic bid to college football playoff. And Colorado football is, I don't care who you hired. If you were sitting there at 6-2, you'd be like, man, this guy's doing an unbelievable job. Pat?
Absolutely. Give Coach Prime his flowers. He has earned them. There were a lot of people, obviously a lot of naysayers. Then they watched him start 3-0, and then it fell apart last year, and the naysayers were as loud as they could possibly be. He's not really a coach. He's a celebrity. He's all splash and dash. There's no substance there. Can't build a program. So they went out in the offseason, got better, a lot better. They are a much more solid team than they were last year. They're better coached. They have better players across the board. They are solid defensively. They run the ball. And they have certainly one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country, right there with Cam Ward and Shedeur, I think, are the top 2 quarterbacks. And then they have Travis Hunter, which is something nobody else has. And nobody else has had in a long time. Plus a lot of other good players. So they have put it together, and Deion Sanders deserves the credit. There were so many people waiting for him to fail, and I'm sorry, but you're still waiting. Didn't happen this year.
I think there were a lot of people waiting for him to fail and rooting for him to fail. You got that sense really ever since he took over in some of the things he said in his first season and during the off season, bringing the Louis and all that stuff. The Louis is appears to be paying off. And there were a lot of doubters and a lot of people rooting against him. There's no doubt about it. And when you look at the Big 12 standings, I mean, Colorado does not play the top 2 teams in the league, right? BYU and Iowa State, and they have a loss to Kansas State in the last second, almost came back and won that game. That's their only loss, Kansas State. So those 2 are tied right now behind BYU and Iowa State, who are undefeated. So this Big 12 race between those 4 shaping up to be pretty fun here down the stretch, because Kansas State and Iowa State do play, I think, to end the year. So there is a chance that you could have like a 3-way tie to get in the championship game. Or a 4-way tie in 2 of the 4 get in the championship game. So it's as predicted, the Big 12 race is pretty crazy. I saw John Wildner had tweeted out, I thought, a really interesting post, the top 5 in the Big 12 preseason media poll, how they're doing, right? Utah was picked to win it. They're 1-4. Kansas State is the only team in the top 5 that were picked. Picked to finish in the top 5 of the Big 12. Of those 5, Kansas State's the only one with a record of a winning record at 4-1. Oklahoma State 0-5. Kansas 1-4. Arizona 1-4. So pretty crazy right now.
Yeah, dramatic win by Kansas State.
Stormed back.
field goal at the
KU
end,
fumbled it away.
Yeah, that was exciting. Sunflower State coming together. I love it. They hit that one field goal. It's like this close game, and then the signs are like, "We own the state." It's kind of close.
16 straight wins, Dan.
But no, I know they do. They dominate. They've dominated that rivalry. And K-State's getting a lot of good players from state of Kansas to play for them. It's like Prime. It's his own fault, probably. He didn't just come. He creates so much attention and says so many things. I mean, he said, "Hey, it's cute, or bowl eligible. We don't care. That's not what we're looking for here." People are like, "Well, that's fine. They're finally winning." But what happens when his son's gone? And what happens when Travis Hunter leaves? What happens to any program?
Yeah,
unless you're Georgia and Ohio State. And yes, they're not always going to have a top 10 draft pick at quarterback, but he's trying to recruit some. And he had a last week, he said, I thought was really interesting was, I guess I'm looking at this defense is better. That's really what surprised me. Last year, it looked like a bunch of guys kind of playing together. And now they're really, or just playing the same side of the ball. Now they're playing together. Up to 10 sacks in the last 4 games. They had 4 tackles for a loss yesterday also. He had a line last week, he said, about putting these teams together through the portal, which he did at Jackson State. And he likened back to when he ran this prep school in Dallas back in the day, but just sort of finding guys and plugging them in and making a team work. And he said the defensive line now, they really listen to like Warren Sapp and things like that. They're dialed in. But he said, we kind of know what we're doing, he said. I know it didn't seem like we did early on, basically. And we've been doing this for a while, building teams since I was at the youth level go on. We kind of know the landscape a little bit, and now comes the pass, and we're excited about it. That's the first acknowledgement I've seen that he's like, yeah, it probably did look chaotic from the outside or the inside or anywhere, because it was chaotic. But here we are. And so, yes, Shedeur Sanders is going to the NFL. Yes, Travis Hunter's going to the NFL. But he talked about it's a lot easier to recruit now when you have proof of concept. When you're winning. He had another big-time offensive lineman up there who's committed to USC. He's trying to flip. I can see him getting more into the high school ranks to the tune of 15 guys, but other than that, he's like, we're going to get portal, but he's going out in the portal and saying, you're going to play and you're going to win, and look how cool our uniforms is, and look at this place. Everyone who's saying he's just going to bail out or not care after Shedeur leaves and Shiloh leaves, those are the same people that said this wouldn't work right now. Like, betting against Deion Sanders has never been a good idea. So I think he's true. This could work. He's doing it differently, but it's working.
Yeah, that's it. That it ran so far against convention, basically, of how you build a program that the immediate reaction was, no, this won't work. I'm wondering, we seem like we're kind of overdue for another one of those anonymous coach stories where they all take shots at how Deion's built the program. It's been a while, but since we had one of those.
Can't build chemistry without high school recruiting. Well, that D-line looks pretty chemistried.
Still offensive line questions, but the offensive line is certainly the weak point on the team, but they have improved tremendously on defense. There's no doubt. Yeah.
I mean, if they end up 8-4, they still got, it's not going to be easy the rest of the way, but this is an unmitigated success.
No doubt.
And again, from where they were at. I mean, look, they're at Texas Tech, they get Utah, at Kansas, Oklahoma State. Can you win them all? Can you win 3? Should win the last 2.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
if you got,
they're going to
whatever.
be. They might be favored in all four. I don't know what the line is
Yeah,
for
I would say they would
Texas
be
Tech.
favored in
That's
3 of the
2
4.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.